If you don't stay down and you never quit, come on over here and sit on the far end of the bench. And I told him, bring me my money. That's
Break those fucking hearts, baby. Break those hearts. Break them hearts, baby.
That is what I am talking about. That, all of it. You gave me the good, you gave me the bad, you showed me how bad it could be, you showed me how good it could get. Ladies and gentlemen, bonus edition of the Far End of the Bench podcast. We're still rocking with everybody throughout these playoffs here. We took yesterday off because, let's be real, we decided before the game. So if people want to say that we were ducking talking about that game, no, we decided before that we didn't want to.
We'll talk about it.
We are going to talk about it, but we had decided before we were even going to, before the game even tipped off last night, that we were going to wait until today because I needed a break, you needed a break, and with the second round, we don't need to go day after day after day after day. We're going to kind of go every 2 games or so. So we're coming at you guys live. Game 1 of round 2, the Avalanche just defeated the Dallas Stars 4-3 in overtime. Second game today to go 4-3 in overtime. Don't know what it was about 4-3. Must have been something with the lucky number 7. If you were in Vegas, I'm going to Vegas in a little bit. If you can't tell, I'm a little bit all over the place because I'm just like, I was nervous going all the way through that overtime period. Tomorrow we are going to have, I got to make sure that the Sarcastic Remark podcast is coming on tomorrow, and we'll be able to talk about it. But Nico,
this series, and look, it's the first playoff overtime game in a very long time for us. Obviously, I love watching playoff overtime hockey. Watching that Rangers and Carolina game on my phone while the Avs are starting, unfortunately, started very slow, was a joy to watch. But now, obviously, going through the ringer, and luckily we didn't have to go through 2 overtimes to get the game winner tonight. But yeah, playoff hockey and especially overtime hockey, it's different. It's a different animal, and I liken it to it's bottom of the ninth. It's both teams that have a chance to swing off for a home run. That's what you have. That's what you have. And with these 2 teams, and like I said, these 2 teams are very, very evenly matched. It is 2 of the best teams, not just in the West, but in the whole NHL. And we'll talk about the rest of the playoffs on our regular show this week. But the West is by far so much better than the East. And these 2 teams just come out firing to start. And Dallas, obviously, having the momentum of beating Vegas in 7, and then coming into tonight's game where they started rocket hot. It obviously didn't end well for them. Luckily, it ended well for us. But, I mean, they are a damn good team. They are not to be messed with. And Ottinger is the real deal, I'll tell you what.
He's the real deal, but the Avalanche have still yet to go a game without scoring less than 3 goals. That is the insane thing about
Jim. We haven't scored. This is the first time we've scored less than 5 goals.
Yeah,
so less than 5 goals.
It's something to behold with this offense, and that's I mentioned it, but the Sarcastic Remark podcast, when they come on tomorrow, it's going to be interesting because we're both going to be battling. They believe everybody's out to get the Stars. We obviously believe everybody's out to get the Avalanche, and the Avalanche are the greatest team and franchise of all time.
I'm sure they're big fans of Glassbanger down there. If you know,
I don't know if Glassbanger's positive or negative out there. I feel like he's a negative.
I enjoyed it thoroughly watching Miles Woods goal go in on the replay and watching him just sit back down after the puck went in. It was very, very enjoyable.
Did he have a hooker with him today? If you guys,
I couldn't tell. I honestly didn't pay attention until the overtime of where he was, and then I was like, "Oh, let me look," and then I saw him.
He's always in the opposing net to start off with, which I believe goes to be the opposing net in overtime because maybe in the playoffs they switch, but normally they don't switch. They get things going fairly quickly. Did you expect that out of the Dallas Stars? Before we talk about the specifics of the game, I said it before in my Keys to the Game pregame video that I did, which everybody should go check out at FEOTB Pod. Follow us on all social media platforms, including TikTok. As of right now, as it stands, you can still do that. And be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. But I said I believe that it was going to be difficult. Like tonight, if you were going to steal a game in Dallas, which, yeah, you stole a game. You got it to overtime. You stole a game. Great job. But when you steal a game in Dallas, it was going to need to be off the back of, Well, they just had the absolute biggest release of adrenaline of all time. There's no way they're coming out swinging. There's no way they're coming out ready to go. There's no way that they're going to be able to handle this pressure from the Colorado Avalanche. And we saw the total opposite. Is that something that you expected going into the game tonight?
Through 2 game ones, and I'll liken this back to the Boston and Florida game one as well. The game 17 looked more ready to play. It absolutely did, as opposed to the team in Florida and obviously ourselves that started off very, very slow. Obviously, the Avs were able to figure it out eventually, but it's so much. It's a release of adrenaline that's still pumping your veins, right? It takes a little bit to get the adrenaline in a playoff game get going again, whether you're on the road or at home, and to have the adrenaline still rushing through your veins in the early rounds, it makes a difference as opposed to rest, because the early rounds are like, you know what, everybody's about the same healthness that, you know what, when we get to game 7 or if you win in 5 or whatever it is, it's not that much of a difference. And did I expect a 3-0 start? No. Did I expect to go 5-on-3 in the first 10 minutes of the game? No. But you know what? Like,
don't remind me.
Like, don't get me wrong. Like, Georgia, 2 goals on the first 5 shots. That was not his fault. One was a great tip at the net. The second one obviously was the 5-on-3, and the third one was just an absolute snipe from the top. He had not. We'll talk about him more extensively as we get to the third period and overtime. But he was not the problem for that. I saw some bad turnovers, and then for whatever reason, Jimmy, and I'll let you get your thoughts on the first period before I talk about this. But there was a moment in the second period where I knew this game we were going to win this game, but I want to hear your thoughts about the first period.
Obviously, I was doing the live reaction videos from throughout the entire game. I would go during every intermission, which turned out to be good luck. So that will continue into the next game until it proves to not be good luck anymore, and then I'm going to totally flip and everything. This is still the lucky hat, by the way. I know.
I switched the jersey. I did not mean to match with you.
Well, I need an A on this one because mine's Makar, but I got it before he was an actual A. There was no captainship on him. But no, I was totally shocked. Like I at least thought they were going to look energized to play. Like, you know, you take the wag out of the puppy's tail, and all he wants to do is wag it and play. He's like, come on, I want to play. Come on, Jared, let me go. And they were not ready at the beginning of that game. And I feel like that first one. Here's the thing about Dallas, which people thought that the Winnipeg was going to be able to do this, and they just weren't as successful about it. Dallas can sit their ass in front of the goaltender, and they are difficult to move. Like I hate Jamie Benn and I hate Tyler Seguin more than anything. There is a reason I do that, because they are difficult to play against. If they park their ass in front of Georgiev, it takes 2 guys to move them. They're bigger than you anticipate. So the size was something that I feel like it took 20 minutes to get used to, because Dallas is a much bigger team. But once that happened, like I was stressed. I wanted something. I was hoping we would get one back at the end of the third, and then we obviously had the penalty kill to go into first intermission. So absolutely nothing was going right.
And to add on to the big guys you got set in the middle, this Dallas Stars team is much different than years past. Obviously, you have White Johnson, Jason Robertson, and Rupe Hintz, 3 wingers that can just rip it too. That's the difference between this and the Winnipeg series. Winnipeg had some big bodies that were not very impactful. They had those strong wingers, but those wingers could not get pucks on net like Wyatt Johnson, the soon-to-be 21-year-old. Weirdly enough, next week he's going to be an absolute stud for a long time. And then to throw in Robo and Rupe Hintz, who has not had a great playoff so far. They really, really produce really well from the wingers. They absolutely do, and that's where the pressure you saw coming from. Because, like I said, Ben and Seguin are told win faceoffs and get in the front of the net. That's
all they goddamn do.
Win faceoffs and get in front of the net, and they're damn good at it.
Dude, Jamie Benn is like 60% in just throughout the playoffs in the faceoff dot.
He's an absolute unit.
Like I said, there's a reason why I hate him, and it is justified. Were you stressed? I know that I stress easier than you do, especially when it comes to the Colorado Avalanche. Were you stressed at the end of one with that penalty kill still ensuing? Or were you encouraged? Because I feel like the point where I'm going to go back to and say this is where the game flipped, and he did the same exact thing on the last really deep playoff run. But Josh Manson loves to play himself some goaltender sometimes. If his goaltender's out of position, if he's dealing with something over here, Josh Manson's like, hey, I used to play a little goaltender back in the day. He swatted the puck right out. It bounced in between Georgie's legs, bounced straight up, and he's just like, God.
Baseball. That was beautiful. That was an absolute momentum swinger. I want to say that right at the end of the first period there, and then going into the second, at the 3 or 4 minute mark, Jimmy. I don't know if you're listening to the radio broad or to the national broadcast. They did a little piece on our old friend Matt Duchene. I don't know if you heard them.
Yeah, I did.
They did. It was weird timing, very weird timing. And they say, well, Matt Duchene came together at the end. And he said, this is the most competitive team I've ever played on. This is the deepest team I've ever played on. Probably some of the best players I've ever played with in my life. And for those that don't know, obviously Matt Duchene was Colorado Ave. He was supposed to be the face of this franchise, and then a person by the name of Nathan McKinnon walked in the door and said, nope, it's fucking mine, and he got shipped out and rest is history. Well, he says that. What happens? 2 goals and an absolute domination in the second period. Second period. And obviously, the players can't hear that shit. But I just remember hearing that and be like, all right,
you messed up.
You fucked up. You fucked up. And I think it was Leo Hextall that was reporting on it. You fucked up. You really did. You fucked up. You poked the wrong bear. And it wasn't the team. It was necessarily the fan base that was like, all right, you really want to do this? You want to add the fuel? You want to talk about Valeri Nichushkin? How about that guy who was a shit show in Dallas and came over?
You guys couldn't coach him to do anything. You guys coached him to just stand out there on the ice and collect zeros all throughout a season. If you forget, it's very easy to forget because he's been the most important player for the Colorado Avalanche for the last 2 playoff seasons.
Leading scorer, by the way, in all of the NHL for the playoffs.
He scored in every fucking game. What are we talking about? Every fucking game, and he had a hat trick already.
Dude's an animal. It was just very fitting.
He legitimately could have not been on the ice for a season in Dallas, and nobody would have noticed.
Yeah, absolutely. They drafted him in the first round. I remember the story. He was a first-round draft pick. He was in Russia. He played an extra year in the KHL. He comes over. The guy barely spoke a word of English. He comes in and he plays hard. He does all the right things in practice, and then they just have him sit on the net and say, "You're a big body, just do that." And if everyone watched Valeri Nichushkin, yeah, he can deflect pucks so well. But the speed this guy has at his height is unmatched. Is absolutely unmatched on the ice. And like I said, it's funny. It was just very funny that they decided to do Matt Duchene appreciation night on the ESPN broadcast with all the other fuck ups they did tonight on the broadcast, and it turned right around into a 4-0 run for the Avs to win the game. Very, very funny.
I'm just going through in my head and thinking about all the battles that we're going to be fighting tomorrow because they're going to hate Nichushkin and they're going to love Duchene, and I can't stand Duchene and I love Big Val. I got to hit it because he scored again, so I guess I'll do it in every one that we do after he scores. Choo-choo! That was what I want to talk about is just the way people saw when Starcastic Report comes on tomorrow, we'll ask them. I heard them talk about it. ESPN was basically saying the same thing without actually saying it. Everybody expects Dallas just to be able to lean on the Avalanche. And yeah, it might be fun for them to have their high-flying offense come out every now and then, but their defense isn't as good. Their goaltending isn't as good. Their forward depth isn't as good. We got better just by adding one piece at the trade deadline. You guys added all of this, and you're not even that great. The one game we played after the trade deadline, we beat you. Dude, what did Winnipeg? All Winnipeg talked about was beating us, sweeping us in the regular season. We really want to talk about this? We weren't going to bring it up because if we bring it up this time, that's bad for us. But if you're going to talk about all of this, oh, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, you better be able to prove it. You better be able to play like that for 60 minutes, not just 20.
And I get it. You just beat the Stanley Cup champions in Game 7.
You're feeling yourself.
You're feeling yourself. You're a damn good hockey team. You're the number 1 seed in the West for a reason. But you're facing a different animal with a lot different speed and scary enough, a goaltender that is getting confidence every fucking game he plays. He's getting more and more confidence. Obviously, the first period was brutal, but we don't win this game without Georgiev saves in third, which
overtime.
Second half, third, and then going into overtime, both. He was absolutely stood on his ass and played his ass off. And like I said, he is not going to give up this net if he gets it unless he gets injured. And like I said, you're giving him momentum. We have broken now 2 Vezina finalists, Jimmy's. Jimmy, we have now broken 2 Vezina finalists for 4 goals at minimum. We broke Hellebuck, and then we broke again Ottinger tonight with 4
And there
in a
was
row.
no empty net
4 in a
bullshit
row.
to talk about today either.
No
It
empty
was
net
all
bullshit, yeah.
Ottinger was in for all 4 of them.
All 4 of them. Like it was. I said you can say, oh, the Avs. This is not going to translate to all 4 series and everything. Try me. Try us. If you can't, what's the old saying that we had when we were little when we played football?
You can't stop a nosebleed is one of them. I remember that one pretty good.
Or it was something along the lines of we're coming right at you trying to stop
Yeah,
us.
we were coming. Yep. Now I remember.
Trying to stop us because at this point it is downhill. It is you. We are begging your defense to make a decision. Either leave the guy wide open in the front of the net, give Cale McCarr or Nathan McKinnon a wide open shot from the point, or let the puck get tipped 3 times between Mikko, Val, Lecky and company on the net. They are making tough decisions. They are making what we call in the basketball world business decisions. Of being like, well, I guess this decision is less is better than this one, but this one gives an open shot. And Andre, like I said, he has not faced this many shots. And you look, and I remember specifically looking at the third period, the shots were 21-14 at one point. I think it was around the 12-minute mark. I remember seeing that 21-14, and then at the end of the third, beginning of the overtime, they were about even. 22-22. I think maybe one and finally ended with the Avs slightly more.
26-22 is what it ended at.
26-22, and I remember seeing that, be like, wow, what a terrible last 10 minutes of the game. Yeah,
did you realize how physical we were tonight, Nico?
We were very physical.
45 hits to 20. I thought Dallas was the physical team.
That hit, I think it was Miles Wood too.
Yeah.
That hit no, Sean Walker on the
Sean
blue
Walker
line.
crushed somebody too.
Crushed a dude on a back check that I think just set the momentum off for overtime. And
I thought we were about to see Manimal go after Jamie Benn again. I thought we were going to see.
Oh, I think we will. I highly doubt that we won't see that. Like I think
we didn't really. We had the brawl at the end of the game. I feel like we're going to get a legit fight because these. It kind of no, they don't like each other. Your division rivals. Yeah. But I was kind of thinking about it as I was watching the game. Like the quote in the corner of Rocky, they don't know it's a damn show. They think it's a damn fight. Like both teams back and forth, nobody got all that much momentum. Whenever somebody pulled it back, like Dallas won the first period, Colorado won the second period, they traded that third period back and forth. This series is going to come down to the wire.
Outside of the first 30 seconds, which is crazy. I mean, crazy that the best player in the world, literally the best player in the world, is wide open in front of the net for a rebound and just taps it in. Like, I don't understand how that happens. I think it was Messier or whoever the ESPN guy said it after the game. I was like, I don't understand how the greatest player in the NHL right now, at least more, if not the best, top 3 at
top 3 finalists now.
Top 3 finalists. Official. Is just sitting there on the front of that waiting for a rebound and just to tap it in. I don't understand
that. I get to score a playoff goal. I don't score many playoff goals this season. I'm facilitating, but I get to score a playoff goal this time. And another name that we did not see on the goal sheet, by the way, Mikko Rantanen. He hit the post early. He had a lot of other chances. I would say that this wasn't his best defensive game, but that's what's scary if you're a Dallas Star. Yes, you got goals out of Val Nichushkin, Cale McCarr, Nathan McKinnon. At this point, it's a given Val Nichushkin is going to score, knock on wood. But so far throughout the playoffs, it's just a fact to state that it's a given he's going to score in all of these games. Cale McCarr is Cale McCarr. You can't really account for that. Nathan McKinnon decided he wanted to put some more stats on the stat sheet. But if Mikko gets going, if Lecky gets going, people don't realize how dangerous Artturi Lehkonen is. They think that he's just out there to be a pest. No, the dude has two conference final clinching goals. He has a cup clinching goal. Yeah, he only scored 16 goals this regular season. He didn't play. He was hurt.
Yeah. He is damn good on the ice too. He is one of the best forecheckers. Him and Val just wreak havoc. They have him on two different lines for a reason now because of how good Val has been offensively on the first line. But when you have you have 2 wingers and Val and Lecky that just make life living hell for the opposing defense, it drains on him. It drains on him. And like I said, when you see a team in the Avs that just plays so fast, you expect it to slow down, right? You expect it to slow down. But from the first minute of the game until the final seconds of overtime in the game winner, Avs are much faster, less tired. And obviously, look, maybe it's altitude, and obviously we train at altitude over here, and it's a lot different.
What's going to happen when they have to come back
Miles,
here?
but your third line winger and Miles Wood beat your number one defender and Miro Heiskanen,
Yeah.
beats him down the ice, one-on-one foot race to get a wide open one-on-one chance on the best goal in the world. That should not happen
In overtime.
In overtime. So look, the Avs have wheels on wheels on wheels. That goal was so beautiful by Miles Wood. I had to double check. Be like, was that 29? Like, was that 29? Or was that 28? Let me double check. And I thought Miles Wood was probably
flies.
I know, and he, in my opinion, was the unsung hero of the game up until overtime too. I thought he played a great game outside of the one horrendous. I don't know what the fuck he was thinking. High sticking.
Well, and that's what they said on the broadcast too. That was at least a decent point that they brought up.
Yeah.
He made up for that penalty because
absolutely.
that was one of the power plays. I think it was one of the power. Honestly, it wasn't the worst penalty to take because they killed that penalty off. They got some momentum back. That's what drove them, through the momentum through the first intermission into the second period. We all know what happened from there. I think Georgie, the overtime period is going to be huge for him. It might just take him like a few shots against these new teams. It's honestly starting to feel like every time that he sees a new team in the playoffs, he needs to see a few right at his face. He might get lucky and stop him. It might just be, okay, that one beat me, that one beat me, that one beat me. No more beating me. That's what Wayne talks about all the time with those Oilers teams. You guys realize, all you hockey fans, guys that claim to be hockey fans, even though you play NHL 24 and that's as deep as you go with your hockey fandom, the Edmonton Oilers never had like a Dominic Hasek or a Patrick Waugh or a Marty Brodeur between the pipes. They had Grant Fuhr. Grant Fuhr had about like a 4.5 goals against average, about an .870 career save percentage, but he would, damn it, he's like, okay, I let in 5. That's on me. I'm not letting in anymore, so you guys go out and score 6.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the one thing about this offense. It's just so different than last year specifically. Is like it's not leaning on Nico and Nathan McKinnon to do it all. It's not that at all. And when you have production from your defensemen, Jack Johnson made some great offensive plays. Sam Girard had some great offensive plays. Your defensemen are making moves in the opponent's zone that are making life hell for the opponent. Making life hell for the opponent. Be like, fuck, that puck should have went out of the zone. I got to play defense for another 10 seconds, 15 seconds. That may not seem like a lot, but that is massive on the ice. That is a massive amount of time on the ice. If you're able to keep the puck in the zone like the Avs have, the Avs are, in my opinion, maybe one of the best teams in the NHL at it. And keeping the puck and those defensive making plays with it. It's not just shedding shots. It's sending pucks to the corner. It's knowing, you know what? I know my guys are faster than these guys. Let me send the puck to the bottom right corner. And Casey Middlestat did that tonight perfectly. He sent the puck to the corner, had a great opportunity on the backside for I think it was a lucky shot on the corner there that didn't go in, but it's the little things that gives this team so much more belief in themselves and more momentum to be like, you know what, like if we can make our Ottinger stand on his toes for more than minute 30, 2 minutes at a time, where he's forcing to play these tough pucks, it makes life hell. It makes life hell for any goalie, plain simple. And the offensive pressure tonight, I'm very, very impressed.
And you have to remember, as of right now, there's a chance that it changes. But as of right now, Dallas is playing with 5 defensemen.
Yeah.
So they mentioned it again. I didn't really like the broadcast because it always sounds. I hate ESPN, but it always sounds like they're anti-Avalanche. But they mentioned it. If you can get the defenseman, you don't necessarily have to like go and get pressure and put a shot on. If you can just get the puck deep and behind the net and make the defenseman skate the 100 feet down, skate the 100 feet back. You steal the puck again, send it back down, skate. You're with 5 defensemen where you're doing like every 5th rotation. That means that you take 2 shifts. That's a lot. I feel like that's why Miro Heiskanen wasn't able to keep up with Miles Wood. Miles Wood is fast. He's just so he's really, really fast. He's so fast. He makes fast people look not fast.
I want to say he is the Andre Burakovsky of this team. I think that's the best way to put it. Casey Middlestat was a guy that is more Naz Kadri. Obviously, he doesn't score as much, but Valentin
he's more on the comfort side. But I agree with you.
But with Miles Wood, the way he just puts himself in places where he doesn't make wrong decisions. If he does, he makes up for it very, very quickly. And Burakovsky did that too. Burakovsky was always in the right spot at the right time. Miles Wood was exactly that all night tonight. He had multiple chances. He had multiple chances on net. Obviously, the game winner where he just showed off his speed, and he like I said, he's a pure goal scorer. That man came here. Joe Sakic and Chris McFarland brought him in to score fucking goals. Plain and simple. That's what they do with Berkey. That's what they do with Miles Wood. And the last year's the additions were not pure scorers. And they said, you know what? If I can get my pure scorer to figure everything else out once he steps out of New Jersey and come here, aka Casey Millsap, aka Miles Wood, aka Jonathan Drouin, and have them work on everything else. I know I don't have to teach goal scoring. That's the difference. Because look, when you have a group of guys that are not afraid to put pucks on net and have the confidence to score goals, you can have them figure out how to play good team defense. You can teach them how to move the puck and play a good forecheck. You can't teach the ability to put the puck in the back of the net. You either got it or you don't. And if you don't, you're a defenseman on the third fucking line. You're just back there banging bodies, plain simple. And right now, Miles Wood is doing it better than everyone else.
Miles Wood deserves a ton of credit. Jared Bednar deserves a ton of credit. He has a tough matchup. This is a much tougher matchup this round than it was last round, coaching-wise, because Pete DeBoer, incredible. He's 8-0 in closeout games. I know a couple of those are against us in the Game 7s specifically, not closeout games, but Game 7s, he's 8-0, going with San Jose, Vegas, and now Dallas, obviously. This is a team that was in the Stanley Cup final not very long ago.
3 years ago, 4 years ago, whatever it was.
I believe it was the bubble season when they beat us. They were in the Stanley Cup final, and I'm looking for revenge. I'm glad that this game went the way that it did. You did what you needed to do, stole one in Dallas. Expect a hellacious return. I guess I'll say expect a hellacious return. Again, I'm killing this. I'm just going to kill this transition game all week, I guess.
Hold on. Before you do that, before we transition, I do want to talk quickly about the embellishment thing because I saw people losing their mind over it. And the embellishment call, for those that don't know, the NHL has a rule in place for flopping. Yeah, it's called the embellishment, and with that hook at the end, I think it was at the 5 or 6 minute mark of the third period by Josh Manson. If you look at, I forgot who it was. If you look at how the Stars player took the hit, 2 seconds later looked up and dove, it was the perfect call. And look, you can watch 20 to 30 hockey games, and you may see one embellishment call. Because that's just not the way hockey players are fucking wired, plain and simple. And it's a very, very rare call, especially in the playoffs specifically. But that's the right call. Yeah, it would have put Dallas on the power play. It absolutely would have. But if you want to take a dive to sell it even more, you're sent to the box too, pal. So obviously it benefited us for it. But if you watch the replay specifically, you cannot sit here and tell me the dude did not jump because I saw him jump. I saw him jump. Though everyone saw it clear as day. He jumped. You could see Josh Manson's stick stop him. You could see the hook, and because it wasn't a trip. If it was a trip, then it's different. But it wasn't a trip. It was a hook. You brought the stick around him. I think it was on. It might have been on Johnson.
It was Johnson.
He brought the stick around him, and Wyatt Johnson saw that. Skied 2 seconds. Looked.
Oh no, not Wyatt Johnson. It was the other. They have a different Johnson. It was
different Johnson. Whoever it was, you could see him just take the jump right away and go and slide across to the other corner. Like he was behind the net. And he jumped so far and slid so far across the ice. That's a scary thing to do. That's very scary, especially with how many injuries we've seen with skates cutting people and different things. That's a scary play, and that's why you have to call that because the way he jumped and slid across the ice, hell yeah. That's not a first. Everyone knew it was a hook. It was absolutely a hook. But and he was trying to sell a tripping call, and the dude just jumped, and it's not just a scary play for on the ice, scary play for himself, and that's why you have to call that.
Yeah, and they also did a good job. Like if the referee makes that, it's up to the referee's discretion. But if there's no hesitation, then you at least know it wasn't just to keep the game even. Because I don't even think it definitely wasn't even. The Avalanche took way more penalties than they should have tonight. they put themselves at a bigger disadvantage than what the final score ended up showing. But no, I feel like you got to expect a huge bounce back. But we also said that on Saturday, the last time that we were here, and we had Jordan on talking about the Nuggets and the T-Wolves. And I tried to avoid it for as long as possible as Nico's doing a costume change.
I'm sweating my ass off in this hat. I cannot do the whole show with that hat on. It was a lucky hat.
Lucky hat. The T-Wolves take a 2-0 series lead back to Minnesota. Nico was in the house last night for the 106-80 loss. Yeah, unfortunately. Your barn got taken over. Your barn got absolutely taken over. They're chanting Wolves in 4. It was bad enough when the one douchebag in the stands was able to get away with the Suns in 4, and now we have an entire arena chanting for the opposing team. Anthony Edwards is proving as of right now. I mean, he's got 75 points in 2 games. He had another 27 tonight. Karl Anthony Towns had 27 and 21 rebounds, so Cat had a huge impact. Jokic had 16, 16, and 8. Murray had 8 points. 8. And Aaron Gordon was a minus 33. So,
Jimmy, Aaron Gordon was the best player on the Denver Nuggets tonight. Go down the list of the rest of the performance, please, because I want you to say this out loud, because I looked at it the other night and I was sick to my stomach. Go through the rest of the 25. Yeah.
Aaron Gordon, 20 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists.
The only player that fucking showed up last night. The only one.
Michael Porter Jr.
Yep, go ahead.
9 points, 2 assists, and 5 rebounds, minus 21.
Great. Keep going.
Nikola Jokic, 16.
I don't need to hear
8.
Jokic's stat line. 16 points. He should have done more. Keep going.
16, 16, and 8. He was minus 16. Jamal Murray, 8 points, 2 assists, 13 rebounds, minus 16. Contavious Caldwell-Pope, 4 points, 1 steal, 3 rebounds.
Yeah, real great production from your best defender.
Yeah.
You want to go to the bench, because I know Peyton Watson put up a 0. I know Justin Holiday, I think, had 6 points. I think Reggie Jackson hit 2 threes.
Justin Holiday had 13 points.
Okay, yeah. So the one guy that
he was your third leading scorer.
And look, I'm not going to put lipstick on a fucking pig here, because that was the worst showing I've ever seen. Plain and simple, worst showing I've ever seen. And the thing is, I can say what I want about the refs. The refs were not great. They weren't. They were plain and simple. There were some bad calls, but you know what? We've all realized in the NBA playoffs, we all realize that nothing's going to go everyone's way. Plain and simple. And go ask Indiana fans after the Knicks game 1. Go ask Sixers fans after the Knicks series. It just happens. Bad refs are bad refs. But if you think for 1 second, and I'm talking to all Nuggets fans in general, because this maybe sits to my stomach hearing this at the game from fans behind me. If you thought for 1 second that the refs are the reason why we're down by fucking 30 points at one point at home, get the fuck out of the arena. I know that the refs are bad. The refs do not gain a 30-point lead. We got purely dominated. It was not even close from the start. Anthony Edwards was hitting great shots. Everyone said Anthony Edwards can't do 40 again. Anthony Edwards can't do 40 again. Yes, he fucking can. I know he can. In my opinion right now, Anthony Edwards is the scariest motherfucker left in the playoffs. I take him over everybody right now. I take him over Tatum, maybe Brunson. Brunson's been really good for New York. I take him over Tatum, Brunson, anyone for Indiana, anyone for Cleveland, anyone from the Dallas and OKC series. He is the best player in the world right now at this far in the playoffs. He's not won MVP. Jokic is more than likely going to win MVP tomorrow as we record this, but he is right now the most valuable player in the playoffs, and he is a scary motherfucker. And look, the Nuggets get a bone last night. They got a bone. Rudy Gobert had a kid, and unfortunately, if you don't live in the 303 in the Mile High City, you don't know that there was fucking winds that are out of his fucking mind here in Denver. It is like trees are falling over and shit is going crazy here. It is absolutely nuts.
It's a shitty time for me to be losing weight because I'm gonna fly away walking to the truck.
It is horrendous, and Rudy obviously flew back to Minnesota after game 1, was there for the birth of his child.
Selfish.
I know. Look, I'm not going to hate on him for doing that, but he flew there, and then we had real people, Jimmy, real people on Twitter /X, whatever the hell you want to call it, impersonating his flight crew, saying, "Oh, we just took off." I know, like I really saw that on Twitter, and I was like, "What are we doing?" I had people calling me out for making assessments that he's not going to make the game, saying, Cry more, whatever the fuck he said. I was
Cope. You got to cope.
I'm making an assessment. I was like, it's 2 hours till the game. I'm a person who flies every fucking week during the summer. I know what happens when you get on a plane. I know exactly what happens on a plane. It took 2 hours. It's a 2-hour flight from here to Minneapolis.
Yeah.
And even if you don't have, you can fly commercial or not commercial and fly coach and everything and get here faster. We were nearing a like Mike Calvin Cambridge situation. For those that don't know the movie, Calvin Cambridge showed up at halftime of the playoff of game 82 for the LA Knights versus I think it was against the Sixers, or maybe it was the Nets.
It had to be against it had to be against Boston.
No, it wasn't either way. If you've never seen like Mike, first of all, who the fuck?
Why are you listening to the show?
Why are you listening to the show? Second of all, you'll get the reference there. But the Nuggets got that bone. They got the bone thrown. And to have that poor of a performance offensively is horrendous. It just sick to my stomach because it was a must-win game. And this team felt like, you know what? All right, cool. I can go back to my pool, and Jokic can go back to serve. Jamal can heal out for Team Canada this summer. That's what it felt like. I really did. It felt like this team mailed it in, and that's sickening. I obviously hope for a much better performance in Game 3, but it was very, very sickening. And I know Jamal is injured. Obviously, he has the calf contusion. Then don't fucking play for that injured. If you're going to give me 2 points in 2 first halves, back-to-back first halves, Game 1, Game 2, he had 2 points in both first halves. And he had 0 Game 1, 2 in the second half. If you're going to do that, don't fucking play. I'm serious. I'm serious because you're hurting defensively. And right now, if you watch the Wolves, what they're doing, it's genius. It's genius. Chris Finch knows exactly what he's doing. The Wolves are preying on the fucking weak. They're praying for the weak. Nikhil Alexander-Walker, Jaden McDaniels, and company are picking up full court. Full court. They're making Jamal work for every dribble he has. Every dribble he has. If he's not healthy, we're done. The series is done. And look, Minnesota has the best on-ball defense in the league by far and away. By far and away. And if you have your core forward or core team scoring 36 points in the first half and just praying and hoping that Jokic can save you to win a game, this isn't the Los Angeles Lakers. This is not the Los Angeles Lakers. This is the Minnesota Timberwolves, who are a much better team, much more talented, and much more hungrier than anything you face in obviously probably the last 2 years. This is the best team we faced in 2 years. Easily. Better than the Phoenix last year, better than Miami, better than the Lakers, better than they were last year too. This is the best team we faced by far and away. And you got a bone last night with that Gobert lineup. You put up that performance. It's sickening. It's utterly sickening.
When you get opportunities like that in the playoffs, when you're a championship caliber team, which is the hanger I tried to hang our hat on Saturday, was that this team is a championship level team and they know that you can't lose back-to-back games. They went out and put out a performance that I feel like they I mean, what else can you say? You scored 80 points in the NBA. You scored 80 points.
It's horrendous. And look, I'm not going to sit here and say that the world is falling. This team won me a championship. I was told it was never going to happen.
Nico, we saw our team do this. You remember when we went up 2-0 on Vegas and we were talking about, and now what are you going to do? Huh?
Exactly. So you know what? There's championship DNA in this team. And look, Bruce Brown is not going to come back to save you. Jeff Green is not going to come back to save you. I need a performance from everybody. And like I said, Game 3, season's on the line. And fortunately or unfortunately, the way to look at it like this, the Nuggets are prone to come back from 3-1 leads. And if you take one game in Minnesota and you win Game 5, just hear me out. Ideal scenario, Jimmy. Ideal scenario. And look, the 3-1 ideal scenario, Nuggets come back from 3-1 and win it. Okay, that's the ideal scenario. More realistic scenario, you steal one in Minnesota, and then you come back home, win Game 5 in front of your fans, and then you battle in Game 6 and try to force a Game 7. That's seriously where I'm at because like I said, Minnesota is a very, very tough barn too. And like I said, Minnesota fans, come back, come at me all you want. Y'all have never won shit ever. Vikings, Twins, like what? Did the Twins win a World Series 40 years ago, right, or something? Whatever it was, or no? They've never won anything. Your hockey team left you. Remember? Yeah, remember.
We're playing them now. We're currently playing them. Yeah.
And then won, yeah. And now you have another hockey team that has never made it to the Stanley Cup final, the new one. So you never won anything. So I'm happy for you. Good for you. Talk shit all you want. I don't care. I won my championship. Everything else is icing on the cake. I said this after we won last year. I want to win 2 or 3. I would love to win 2 or 3. That's being greedy though, because I'm a greedy person. As fans, we're greedy people. I never thought they would come that my team would win a championship ever. When the day Melo got traded, I kid you not, I probably did not wear a piece of Nuggets fucking logo for fucking 10 years until Jokic made the playoffs again. I'm dead serious because of how sick of I was of that franchise. And then this motherfucker comes into the picture and everything changes. And look, Minnesota, if they do beat us, and hopefully it's a lot better series than what it's been so far, then I would highly doubt that they don't win the championship. Plain and simple. I think that they're that good. I think they are the best overall whole round team. I think Minnesota versus Boston would be a series that would be utter fireworks. Utter fireworks. I think that'd be the best 2 teams, and it'd be absolutely crazy. If the Nuggets are able to figure this out somehow, I don't know how anyone else can figure out how to stop us because the best team in the NBA couldn't beat us. I'm just going to say that right now. I'm just saying that right now. So if the Nuggets are if we're able to figure this out, like I said, the goal should be simple. 1 game at a time. 1 game at a time. Did you lose 2 at home? Yes. But you lost home court entirely. It's not yours anymore. They have all the momentum. The whole media's, and look, it's funny. It's funny scrolling through my Twitter and seeing Lakers fans, Suns fans post pictures of the Los Angeles Timberwolves or the Phoenix Timberwolves cheering them on. It's funny. I enjoy it. It's fun being the villain where everyone hates and everyone calls you a crybaby and a bitch, and then your team's bitching all the time. And yeah, they were bitching in game 2. I didn't like it one bit. But it's fun being the villain, right? And I remember last time. When's the last time this team went down 2-0 in a series? And the last time
5 years.
It was no. It's
3
been
years. 3 years.
It's been 2 years. It's been 2 years, and it was the Golden State Warriors. That's the only time this or against I think Avalanche, whatever. Okay, it was. Hi, yeah, welcome to the Colorado podcast. Well, welcome, bitch. Either way,
I don't think they're telling us that we're on roids. I think they're saying that McKinnon's on roids.
Yeah, probably. But sorry, what I was saying. The last time we lost that badly was the Golden State series, and where we obviously lost in 5 to them 2-0. We lost 2 out. We lost 2 on the road. And then obviously the Phoenix series before that, where we got our asses kicked. I think that this team has the balls in them to make this series, but I haven't seen it in 7 games. That's the least. That's the worst part about this. This team has not shown anything, giving me any hope that this team can go back to back. If you told me today, right now, this team goes on another run, that you're lying to me. Plain and simple, you're lying to me. Because even if we somehow do get past Minnesota, it may be slim pickings for the Thunder or the Mavs or slim pickings for who comes out of the East. Because I like I said, I'm this down on how bad this team's played. They have not played a complete basketball game. We are in week 3 now of the playoffs. We are a full 7 games in this playoffs. It's horrendous. It's horrendous, and I hate it more than anything. And like I said, this is a team I love, and the core 5. I have nothing but love for every single person on the team. Jamal Murray has given me some of the most fun moments of my life. Jokic obviously won me a champion. AG is an absolute powerhouse. Mike MPJ should not be here, but he's doing what he's doing. I have no fucking care for Reggie Jackson or Justin Holiday and some of these other dudes off the bench that are not producing. Plain and simple. Reggie Jackson steps on the floor as a walking turnover. He steps on the floor, turns the ball over right away. He hits a couple threes, great, but I cannot trust my point guard to turn the ball over every other possession. And then you look at what the offensive production from Justin Holiday is. Justin Holiday is your best offensive producer. That's bad. That's very bad. It's very bad, especially on the other end of the spectrum where you have Naz Reid, an absolute stud. One of the, like I said, he could start on 95% of teams in this league, outside of probably 4 teams with the best centers in the world. He could start on those teams, and he's that good. And you just decide, you know what, we're going to play off of him. I don't know. I'm sorry, but if the guys hit 8-10 threes in 2 games on my face, what do you think I should be doing? Face guarding the motherfucker. I don't care that he's a center. I really don't care. He has not beaten me off the dribble once. He's had, I think, 2 layups in this series, and the rest have been threes, wide open threes. I cannot have that happen. Plain and simple. I cannot have that happen. And look, Cat, the matchup with Cat was so interesting in game 2, where I was just like, what do you like you threw Aaron Gordon on him, and then he was hitting threes, and Aaron Gordon wasn't stepping out. And then you threw Jokic on him, and he was still stepping out and hitting fadeaway threes, little floaters over the top. And I was like, what are we doing defensively? Where is the defense adjustments? Because I know there's a 7'2" motherfucker over there who's at the end of his career, who can at least put 6 minutes on the board for you, who can at least give you energy. He may foul out.
That's what you needed.
He may
you
foul
needed
out.
something.
But you need some energy to punk these motherfuckers and pop them in the mouth, because you're taking hit after hit after hit, and like I said, Minnesota's doing an incredible job at preying at a wounded animal. They are preying on a wounded animal. They are eating up Jamal Murray alive. They're eating Michael Porter Jr. alive. Jokic is in fucking hell because he's making him be a scorer, like what teams have been trying to do for 2 years now, to make him be a scorer, and he doesn't want to do that. So look, it's not over. It's not over by any means. It's not over by any means. I've seen stupid things happen. And like I said, this team has come from literally the jaws of defeat twice. I've seen this team come from the jaws of defeat twice with probably a worse team, to be honest with you. That bubble team was worse than this team still. So
that is true.
We'll see. We'll see if this team has some life. Let's see if there's any juice in the tank left. And let's see if there's heart. Because like I said, getting punked like that at home, that sucks. That hurts more than anything. That hurts more than anything. If you lose 2 close games at home, which you lost the first one, a close one, the second game you actually tried hard and you had a lead or whatever and you lost it, there's something to look forward to that. You get punked like that in your home court and you have the whole world preying on your downfall. The whole world preying on your downfall, saying Jamal Murray needs to be suspended and we're the Los Angeles Timberwolves, fuck Jamal Murray, and people on Twitter saying I hate this motherfucker because of what he does, and Michael Porter Jr. is only good against the Lakers and blah blah. Shut them up. Right? This is this is another chance to be the underdog. It's fun being the underdog. It really is. It's a great time. It is a great time because there's no expectations at this point. I am not expecting this team to move on, and anyone endeavor is not. Play like that. Play like that. Pressure's on Minnesota to close this out quickly and make a dynasty. The Denver Nuggets, you're expected to lose this series now. Let's see what this team has. And like I said, I have full faith in this team. And do I think this team can win the series? I don't think so. I think it'd be a very, very tough stretch because I know how good Minnesota is. But like I said, I want to believe that the core of this team will not go down without a fight. And they've shown that to me in the past.
I'm right there with you. We're gonna wrap things up because I do have to edit, and then I will have to wake up and teach tomorrow. As unfortunate as that is, I was walking outside the school yesterday, and we have our lawn crew out there, and I was like just staring at the guy sitting on the lawnmower, like it's gonna be me in 2 weeks. I cannot wait. That's gonna be me in 2 weeks. Be sure to check us out tomorrow for our regular show. We're gonna talk about the rest of the playoffs, and we'll also mention the Avalanche a little bit again because we are bringing on the Sarcastic Remarks podcast from the Hockey Podcast Network. You can check them out. I don't know why you'd be listening to our show if you are not an Avalanche fan, but if you wanted an outside perspective, if you needed a little bit more information on what the Dallas Stars are, you can check them out, and they'll also be coming on our show tomorrow. Bonus episode, we'll figure out when the next one is. They'll kind of be few, and they might come in at different times.
Tomorrow we do have an off day, and weirdly enough, Game 3 for the Nuggets isn't until Friday, so we do have a little bit of time here.
Oh, we got two. We got two. We can do Friday.
I know. So yes, Thursday is Game 2 for the Avs, and Friday is Game 3 for the Nuggets. So it's a little bit of a nice, like I said, another little holiday. Like I said, we don't look. I told Jimmy this, and for those of the listeners, if you look at the Nuggets and Avalanche schedule, if both series go Game 7, we'll be recording every day until the 18th. and I'm sorry. I physically cannot give you the same energy, you listeners, and the same enjoyable experience as you all come here and listen for all the new listeners. We very, very much appreciate. Cannot do that to you. So, like I said, yeah, did we duck after our ass kicking after Game 2? Maybe.
We decided before.
Well, we made a business decision that, you know what, maybe the Avs could cheer up the mood. And they did. Yeah. They did.
No, it was a good call. It ended up working out. Be sure to follow at FEOTB Pod. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We really appreciate it. Just like Nico said, all the new people that are jumping on, becoming bench warmers. Big shout out to all of you guys. For myself, Jimmy Pilato, my co-host Nico Bryant, bonus playoff edition of the Far End of the Bench podcast. We'll be back tomorrow night. See you guys tomorrow evening.
Tomorrow. Peace.
If you don't stay down and you never quit, come on over here and sit